Hey everyone, I'm back, and I hope you guys have enjoyed some college football the last few days. But now, I know college football is a big kickoff today, but today I'm talking about baseball stretch run. Yes, it is September 1st. We have 1 month left in the baseball season. Teams have about 31 or 32 games left to go to get into the postseason, and I'm really excited about this. This is my favorite time of the year being a baseball fan. So, I'm starting it off here by going over the divisions and then the wild card. Now, before I go on, there's a new thing in baseball with a wild card. There'll be 2 wild card teams per league, but the thing is, it'll be a 1-game playoff between those 2 teams who will get the wild card, and also the format's changed. Usually in the past, the wild card team would play the team with the best record in the league, unless that team was in the same division. Hence, I'm trying to think. What was it? Last year. Last year is a good example. The Yankees had the best record in the American League, and the Tampa Bay Rays were the wild card team in the American League, but the Rays couldn't play the Yankees in the first round because they're in the American League East, so the Rays ended up playing the team with the second best record, the Texas Rangers. That's different now. The wild card team will play the team with the best record no matter what. And also, the division series home field format's different. It's a 2-3 format with a team with the best record of the teams that are playing each other in playoffs will host games 3, 4, and 5. The team with the lower record will host games 1 and 2. I guess I'm getting confused by what Bud Selig's doing. I mean, I'm not too really crazy about the 2 wild cards and the 1 wild card game to do. It sounds like a cluster mess with me. But anyhow, I'm going to start with the National League. I'm going to start in the National League West. Right now, there's pretty much only two teams that are pretty much in the race. The San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers are right now. The Giants have a 4.5 game lead on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And these 2 teams will play each other. I'm going to click on the schedule. The Giants really rely on their pitching. They hit the fewest home runs in the major leagues of any team. They do play in a well-known pitcher's ballpark at AT&T Park, but their pitching usually gets good. Matt Cain's had a great year. Madison Baumgartner, Ryan Vogelsong, but Tim Lincecum, the 2-time Cy Young winner, has been very inconsistent this year. He's been wild, inconsistent. It just doesn't bode well for him so far this year. This is a guy who won 2 Cy Young awards already. But the Giants and Dodgers play each other 6 times the rest of the way. They will play each other next week in San Francisco next weekend, and then they play each other in Los Angeles. The final 3 games of the year, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Those are the last day of the regular season anyway in baseball. So it might come down to that, and it will be at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers have some good pitching on their own. Last year's Cy Young winner, Clayton Kershaw. They did acquire Josh Beckett, who is a very good postseason pitcher. They did make some acquisitions very late, getting Adrian Gonzalez to be first baseman. If Matt Kemp can stay healthy, because he was the league MVP the first 2 months of the year, but now he'd been missing time, but if they stay healthy. The Dodgers they're going for it all with the new ownership, where Magic Johnson's one of the part owners. They're spending money like crazy to stay and continue to they're going for it. The thing is, the Giants are really hurt with Melky Cabrera being suspended. A guy who's leading the league in hitting, and then he gets busted for using performance-enhancing drugs. He won't even be back at all unless the Giants make the playoffs, and he won't even be back unless the Giants go all 5 games in the division series. He wouldn't be back till the LCS. Even if the Giants play less than 5 games in the division series and then get to the LCS, he still wouldn't be able to play until the World Series. So, they're hitting. Pablo Sandoval's a good hitter, but the thing is, the Giants don't have Bob Freeman. The Dodgers actually have the second fewest home runs in the National League. But they've got some power now with Gonzalez, and if Kemp can get back to doing what he's doing, but The Dodgers just need to be a little bit more consistent. I think they're a better team than the Giants. I mean, the Giants also don't have their closer, Brian Wilson. He got injured way back in April and had to have Tommy John surgery. Man, this is going to be very interesting. 4.5 game lead is doable. Is doable for the Dodgers. It's just those games against the Giants are going to be very key for them. I mean, they have a lot of games against. They just only have 6 games. I mean, I'm sorry, 9 games against teams that are not in their division the rest of the way. But you can't make the Padres as a pushover. You know, the Padres have been playing really well. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they've been playing really well of late. So, you know, the Cardinals are a contender. The Nationals, Reds. That's who the Dodgers have played. The Dodgers have a tougher schedule than the Giants down the stretch, I believe. Now, if I check the Giants' schedule before we go on to the National League Central, the Giants' schedule. They're playing the Cubs this weekend, which, you know, Tim Lincecum's going on the hill today. And the thing is, he's 7-14 with a 5.30 ERA. Not looking good for him. The Dodgers have a more favorable schedule. After this weekend, the entire rest of the way, the Giants are playing the National League West. After they play the Cubs this weekend, they're playing only Arizona, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Colorado. They have, oh my goodness, 7 games against the Rockies and 6 games against the Diamondbacks, and you know they're playing the Padres as well. They're only playing the National League West. The schedule favors the Giants more than favors the Dodgers. The Dodgers have a tougher schedule because the Cardinals are a wild card contender. The Reds have the best record in the National League. In the National League overall, and the Nationals in the National League East. Plus, yeah, I see actually with the schedule is coming out. The Giants have the favorable schedule. Looks like they're going to be the ones heading into the postseason out of the National League West. The National League Central, pretty much I will say this race is all but over. The Cincinnati Reds have a 9.5 game lead on the St. Louis Cardinals, a 10 game lead on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Reds the pitching is great, led by Johnny Cueto. Matt Latos has had a good year. Bronson Arroyo. Their bullpen, you're behind in the late in the game. Give it up. They've already acquired Jonathan Bronxton and the closer and Roldis Chapman. Oh boy! And here's the thing: Joey Votto will come back Monday. The guy who was the MVP 2 years ago. They have Brandon Phillips who as well. Jay Bruce has played well, but getting Joey Votto back, the Reds are just going to take this. They're on cruise control. The Reds, they won the division 2 years ago. They struggled last year. They're going to be heading the postseason. I think they'll do better in the postseason this year than they did 2 years ago when they got wiped out by Philadelphia, including Roy Halladay pitching a no-hitter on them. The Reds, they're on cruise control. They're going to win that division. Get ready to get your postseason tickets, Reds fans. Seriously, they're the largest lead of any team in baseball. There's no way they're going to blow this. There's no way. I'm not even going to look at their schedule because they're on a roll right now. No, what the heck. I'll just look at their schedule, see who they have pretty much left. If there's going to be a bump in the road. They're playing the Astros this weekend, so yeah. They do have Philadelphia coming up, who has been struggling. They have the Astros again. They have the Pirates, and that's going to be important. They have the Marlins, no problem. They do have the Brewers, the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Brewers. Let's just say this: the Reds are looking pretty good. Now, the National League East, the Washington Nationals have a 6.5 game lead on the Atlanta Braves, but they said they are going to shut down Strasburg, which it looks like it's either going to be September 7th or September 12th. And looking at their schedule, first off, that's the stupidest thing. I did a video on that. Look at my video on that. It's one of the dumbest moves ever. No team in the history of baseball has ever shut their ace down after doing what he's done for them all year, and they say, no, you're done. We're going to get to the postseason without you. We don't need you. No team's ever done that in the history of baseball. The national schedule looks very favorable. They have the Cubs, the Marlins, the Mets. They do play, but they do end up playing the Cardinals again. They do have the Brewers. They do have the Phillies. The Phillies have actually swept them last weekend, so that might actually be a tough time. they only play the Braves 3 more times. The Braves and Nationals only play each other 3 more times, but they do play the Phillies 6 more times, and they play the Cardinals 3 more times as well. But if by the time, I will say this, and then let's take a look at the Braves schedule. I think if they do shut down, stupid move to shut him down. I mean, I know Gio Gonzalez has won 17 games so far. I mean, they have a good team, but you got to have your ace in postseason. If they do this, they will not get out of the division series at all. They're out of the division series if they shut Strasburg down. They're out. I don't think Jordan Zimmerman can do it. He's wearing out right now. Edwin Jackson, I wouldn't call him an ace. Let's see. Atlanta's playing Philadelphia this weekend. Atlanta has Colorado, the Mets, the Brewers, the Marlins. They both kind of have the same type of schedule the rest of the way. Both are facing teams that are very favorable, that are working in their favor. But if they do shut down Strasburg, and they're only up by, say, 4.5 games, I'll do the half part, 4 or 4.5 games, the Braves will come back and beat the Nationals. The Braves will come back and get them. I guarantee you they will. Now the wild card in the National League is very close. It's a big cluster mess. I want to use another term, but I'm not going to. Here we go. Oh, well, what's going on? Here we go. The Braves and Cardinals are the Braves lead the wild card, and the Cardinals are ahead by half a game on the Pirates, 1.5 on the Dodgers. The Braves have 30 games, and the Cardinals have 30 games left. The Pirates have 31. The Dodgers have 29. The Cardinals schedule the rest of the way. It seems like they're playing a lot of contenders. They're playing the Nationals this weekend. They've got the Mets, the Brewers, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Astros. Playing the Astros 6 times and the Cubs 3 times is an advantage for the Cardinals. Do they play Pittsburgh the final weekend? Let's see. No, they play the Reds the final 3 games. That might actually hurt the Cardinals. And the Pirates, who are trying to... Okay, this is interesting. The Pirates have North America's longest losing streak, as in consecutive years of losing records. They have not had a winning record since 1992. The last year Barry Bonds has played for them. Right now they're 9 games above 500. At least they're trying to go for at least a winning record. They're playing. The Pirates have, it looks like, a very favorable schedule the rest of the way, except they do play 6 games against the Reds. I see the Brewers, the Astros, the Cubs. I see 6 games against the Cubs, 6 games against the Astros. I see the Mets for 3. Who do they play in October? Let me click on that. They will play the Braves. Ooh. The Braves and Pirates fighting for that wild card, and the Braves might be trying to fight for that division. This is going to be very interesting, those last 3 games. Ooh, this is good. I like this. I love it. I love it a lot. Now, let's head over to the American League. The American League East. The New York Yankees have only a 2-game lead on the Baltimore Orioles. I said that right. Just a 2-game lead on the Baltimore Orioles and a 4.5-game lead on the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Orioles have not had a winning record since 1997, the last time they made the playoffs as well. The New York Yankees have had some injuries, a lot of injuries to the pitching staff. And the Baltimore Orioles have actually been outscored this year. They don't have a pitcher who's won more than 12 games. Wei-Yin Chen is their winningest pitcher. But Adam Jones and Matt Waiters have carried that team. Tampa Bay has been on a roll of late. Their pitching carries them. David Price, James Shields. They do. Evan Longoria is back in the lineup. The New York Yankees, of course, Derek Jeter's had an MVP caliber season. He believe it or not, he's never won the MVP. He was runner-up in 06 to Justin Morneau. But the Yankees schedule the rest of the way. And I see Baltimore. They play in a 4-game series against Baltimore. I see 6 games against the Rays. I see 6 games against the Jays. This is interesting. Oakland in late September as well. I see Boston, and I bet they end the season up against Boston in October. Baseball always seems to make them play each other the last weekend of the season, last 3 games of the season. So let me check on that. Yep, it is Boston. Baltimore, on the other hand, their schedule the rest of the way. But if I were Baltimore, I would avoid the Texas Rangers. Rangers have their number all year. I see 7 games the Blue Jays, including a doubleheader. I see 6 games against the Red Sox. I see Oakland, who they are fighting for the wild card spot with. If I'm okay, but I'm going to get Oakland. I am surprised this team did not lose 100 games this year. With all the players, Billy Beane traded away because Billy Beane's a cheapskate, and I still think he's the most overrated general manager in baseball. He is. He's overrated. I still don't think Oakland's going to catch Texas, but I'll get to the AL West in a minute. But the Orioles playing the Yankees. I see a lot of Red Sox. I see Seattle, who's actually played really well the last 2 months, believe it or not. But they're not in the race. And they end up against Tampa Bay, which will, there we go. That's good. Tampa Bay, whom the Orioles are not only fighting for the wild card, but fighting for the division over. That is a good match. This is turning out to be awesome sauce. Oh, you're just fighting it out. Tampa Bay has but their schedule does not seem quite as favorable. They're playing the Blue Jays this weekend, which is probably good. They're playing the Yankees for 3 games. Next week, they're hosting the Yankees. They're hosting the Rangers, which they're hosting the Yankees. They're hosting the Rangers. They're playing the Orioles. They have to go to Yankee Stadium for 3 more. They've got 6 games against the Red Sox. I see 4 games against the Chicago White Sox, who are fighting for the AL Central title against the Detroit Tigers, which I'm about to get to. Boy, this is very interesting. All these teams are playing each other. I might not even really know until September who's going to win that. I'd like to see the Orioles do it, but let's see how they come in September, The Rays find a way to do it in September, but their schedule is not as favorable as the other 2 teams. Now, the Chicago White Sox are playing the Detroit Tigers, who they're 2 games up on. They're playing them this weekend. We have a great pitching matchup Sunday. Justin Verlander for Detroit, Chris Sale for Chicago. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Awesome. And the White Sox, who, Isaac Ian went to Miami, the manager. Now they hired Robin Ventura. It looks like their schedule is very favorable. Big time favorable. They do have 4 more games against Detroit at home next week from the 10th to the 13th. But they're playing, and that's a part of a 10-game homestand. The White Sox started a 10-game homestand. It also includes the Twins and Royals, and they played the Twins and Royals again as well. But they also play Cleveland for 3. But they're playing the Angels, who is probably baseball's most disappointing team this year. They spent all that money to get Albert Pujols and C.J. Wilson, and the Angels I don't think really are going to be back in it. But the White Sox finished the season up against Cleveland. They got 6 games against Cleveland. Their schedule is very favorable the rest of the way. It's going to come down to them in Detroit. I still think Detroit's got the better pitching. They've got that great middle of the lineup with Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder. White Sox, Adam Dunn does lead the league in home runs, but he's either home run, walk, or strikeout. He's only batting .205, which is ridiculous. And Paul Konerko is the heart and soul of that team. The Detroit Tigers, they do have 4 games. They play the Twins 3 times. They play the Royals, I see 4 more times in September. I see 6 games against the Indians, 3 games against the A's, which is also doesn't, that's going to be tough, and they end up against the Royals. So the Tigers and White Sox have just about the same type of schedule, playing about the same teams. So it's going to come down, I think, to that very last week of that season. It's been a pretty close race in the Central going on. Now, the American League West, the Texas Rangers, who have the best record in the American League right now, they, I believe, they have a 3-game lead on the Yankees for the best record in the American League. and they are 4 games up on Oakland. Yes, the Rangers have a three-game lead on the Yankees for the best record, 4-game lead on Oakland for the American League West. I don't think Oakland's going to catch them. Now, the Rangers do play Oakland, I believe, 6 times the rest of the way, including the final 3 games of the season. The Rangers right now are on that 10-game road trip against Cleveland, 4 against Kansas City, and 3 against Tampa Bay. Now they took 2 out of 3 of Tampa Bay recently, including beating David Price and James Shields. Matt Harrison and Yu Darvish have been pretty good pitchers for them so far this year. Their bullpen's been great of late with Alexi Ogando, Mike Adams, and then closing with Joe Nathan. Of course, that lineup the Rangers have is probably one of the best. Adrian Beltre has been one of the hottest players the last 2 weeks of the season. Of course, you have Josh Hamilton in that lineup as well. It would be probably the most feared lineup of baseball. The Rangers also play Cleveland. Cleveland's coming to Texas for the first time this year. From 11 to 13. So the Rangers have 5 more games against the Indians. They have plenty more games, and then after they play the Indians, the American League West the rest of the way. 6 against the Mariners, 6 against the Angels, 7 against the A's. They're playing the Rangers have played 4 games at home against Oakland, and then Oakland is home against the Rangers for the last 3 games. But the A's, who right now they're playing the Red Sox, who they scored 20 runs on them last night. I didn't know they even had that kind of an offense. But the A's scheduled the rest of the way: 2 more against the Red Sox, 7 against the Angels, 6 against the Mariners, 3 against the Orioles, 3 against the Tigers, 3 against the Yankees, 7 against the Rangers. Their schedule is not favorable in their way. The Rangers are looking like they're presenting pretty. Again, the A schedule is not favorable, and they are playing the Orioles, who they are fighting for a wild card spot with. I think the Rangers win this division. I really think the Rangers win this division. Sometimes Rangers do hit a bump in the road, but I think their schedule is very favorable. Right now, the wild card standings: Oakland and Baltimore both have 31 games left. Tampa Bay has 30. Detroit has 31. The Angels, believe it or not, are 3.5 back of the wild card. Oakland and Baltimore are leading the wild card. The Rays are 2.5 back. The Tigers are 3 back. The Angels 3.5 back. But I don't think the Angels are playing good enough to get in there. Just to take a look, let's look at their schedule the rest of the way. They have 30 games left. But it's too close to call for me for the American League Central. Both teams have about favorable schedules. The Angels are playing against Felix Hernandez today. They're playing the Mariners this weekend. Felix Hernandez, ball mound. Irvin Santiago for the Angels. Mariners win that game. I see Oakland for 7, Detroit for 3, Kansas City for 3, Texas for 6, Chicago for 3, Mariners for the Mariners, and they're for 3. Their last 3 games are against Seattle, I think. Hold on. Yeah, Seattle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games against Seattle the rest of the way, which may or may not be good. I mean, I don't see the Angels coming back. I mean, how far are they back of the Rangers? I think they're about 8 games back of the Rangers, maybe. If this... stupid connection. Regular standings. Here we go. But, yeah, this is getting really good. I really am waiting for this. By the way, the Astros are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. The Astros are 31 games back of the wild card spot. There's 30 games to go. The Astros are mathematically eliminated from last year in the National League. The Astros are 40 and 92. They're also 40.5 games back of the Reds. The Angels are 8.5 games back of the Rangers. I don't see them catching the Rangers. And the preseason series has been pretty even between those 2 teams, so I don't see that ever, the Angels catching up. Only if maybe Jared Weaver's pitching every game. So anyhow, I love how it's coming out. It's too close call, the American League East and the American League Central. Rangers will win the West. the National League East, if the Nationals shut down Strasburg with a 4-game lead left, the Braves will come back and beat them. The Reds are cruising to the National League Central. The National League West, the Giants have a favorable schedule. They'll pull it off. Wild cards, way too close to call. Way too close to call. All right. So anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment down below and let me know what you guys think. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. And on Tuesday, I'm going to have a preview of the AFC this year. And on Wednesday, I'm going to have a preview of the NFC. It's NFL time this year. I'm going to tell you which teams I think will be doing well in the NFC and AFC. I will tell you which teams are a lock to make the playoffs. And I will tell you which teams are a lock to miss the playoffs. And let's just see how it plays out. You know, that's the fun part. I will do this. I will say this one thing about my AFC preview. One team doesn't like to make the playoffs, the New England Patriots. I will say that. Let's just say it like that. That's the one team I can guarantee you will make the playoffs in the NFL this year. Anyhow, I hope to see you guys next time. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. I will see you guys again. It's Baseball Stretch Run. And I hope you enjoy watching some baseball.